Cremation is a highly controversial topic, both in modern society and in the Christian community. In this video, we will explore in detail what the Bible says about this subject and answer some of the most frequently asked questions. Among them, is it a sin to cremate the dead? Can a Christian consider cremation as a valid option? Let's begin. Currently, cremation has become an increasingly popular choice in many countries, and it is expected that its accessibility will continue to grow in the coming years. Recent reports from the funeral industry indicate that more people are choosing cremation over traditional burial. In fact, it is estimated that by the year 2035, approximately 80% of funeral arrangements will involve cremation. But what exactly does the process of cremation involve? Cremation is the act of incinerating human bodies in a specially designed furnace until they are reduced to ashes. While most bodies can undergo this process, those exposed to radiation or radioactive substances are excluded for safety reasons. The procedure begins with placing the body in a coffin, which is typically made of wood or cardboard. This coffin is then introduced into a cremation chamber that reaches extremely high temperatures, close to 1000 degrees Celsius. In just a few hours, the body is reduced to bone fragments and ashes. After this process, the crematorium operator removes any metallic remains, such as prosthetics or implants. Subsequently, the bone fragments are ground in a special machine, transforming them into a fine powder. Finally, this powder is placed in a plastic bag and deposited in an urn or temporary container, which is then given to the deceased's family. When addressing topics related to death and body disposition, it is natural for questions about the biblical perspective and spiritual foundations of cremation to arise. What does the Bible say about this subject? Why has it been so debated to this day? One of the most well-known passages mentioning the burning of bodies is in the book of Joshua, chapter 7, verse 25. In this account, Joshua and the people of Israel stoned a man named Achan and his family to death. Afterward, they publicly burned their bodies. This action was a consequence of Achan's sin, disobeying divine instructions during the conquest of Jericho. According to Joshua's orders, the city of Jericho was to be completely burned, and no one was allowed to keep any items from the spoils of war. However, Achan took a valuable Babylonian garment, 200 pieces of silver, and a gold bar weighing about half a kilogram. This act of disobedience brought severe consequences to the people of Israel. In the next battle against a pagan enemy, the Israelites suffered a painful defeat, losing many men on the battlefield. This defeat left the people confused and disheartened, unable to understand the reason for their failure. After praying and seeking God's guidance, Joshua discovered that Achan had disobeyed by taking items from Jericho that God had declared cursed. In sorrow, Achan was severely condemned. He and his family were stoned and then burned. Over their ashes, the people erected a pillar of stones as a solemn symbol to remind him that the Lord's commands must not be disobeyed. After Achan's death, Israel returned to battle and achieved a significant victory, reaffirming the importance of divine approval and spiritual purity. This episode shows that, in the book of Joshua, the burning of bodies is associated with divine justice and the consequences of sin. It is a complex topic that warrants further exploration. Another example related to burning bodies is found in the first book of Samuel, chapter 31, verses 11 to 13. After a battle in which King Saul and his sons were killed by the Philistines, their bodies were taken by the enemies as war trophies. Saul, who had repeatedly disobeyed God, was replaced by David, a shepherd whose heart aligned with God's will. Upon learning the news, brave Israelite warriors retrieved the bodies of Saul and his sons, brought them back to Israel, and burned them, a rare act among the Israelites. According to many scholars, this decision may have been due to the advanced state of decomposition of the bodies, as well as the ongoing military conflict, which made a dignified burial for the king and his family impossible. In the Old Testament, other references to the practice of burning bodies can be found, particularly in contexts of punishment. Cremation was often seen as a measure of humiliation and, in some cases, as a penalty for serious crimes. For example, in the book of Leviticus, certain offenses are punishable by burning with fire. One passage mentions that if a man takes his own mother as his wife, he must be punished in this way due to the severity of his sin. Another passage states that if the daughter of a priest prostitutes herself, bringing disgrace to her father, she must be burned. In modern times, cremation has been interpreted in various ways. Some Christians believe that it might interfere with the resurrection of the dead during Christ's second coming, asserting that the body must remain intact for that event. Others, however, argue that the method of burial is not central to Christian faith, as what truly matters is the soul, not the physical body. From this perspective, cremation becomes a personal or cultural choice without significant spiritual implications. It is interesting to explore what the Bible says about cremation. Although the word cremation is not directly mentioned in the scriptures, the act of burning people as offerings to pagan gods is condemned. Conversely, the Bible emphasizes the importance of providing a dignified burial, as evidenced in numerous accounts that highlight the need to honor the deceased. A clear example of this importance is the case of Abraham, who purchased a plot of land to bury his wife Sarah, ensuring she had an honorable burial. To better understand this topic, it is helpful to consider Genesis, chapter 3, verse 19, "By the sweat of your brow you will eat your food until you return to the ground, since from it you were taken. For dust you are and to dust you will return." This verse is fundamental for many Christians, as it underscores the natural cycle of life, coming from the earth and returning to it at death. In this sense, burial, which returns the body to the soil, is seen as an act that allows nature to follow its course. However, in the age of grace, concern over the method of body disposition holds less significance. The primary focus of a Christian should be on salvation and the eternal destiny of the soul. A key verse in this regard is Matthew, chapter 10, verse 28. "Do not be afraid of those who kill the body but cannot kill the soul. Rather, be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in hell." This text emphasizes that what truly matters is the salvation of the soul and that the physical body, while important, should not be the central concern of a Christian. In conclusion, while cremation is not explicitly explained in the Bible, there is also no direct prohibition against it. Christian teachings highlight that what truly matters is an individual's relationship with God and their eternal destiny, regardless of the methods used for the physical body's disposition. Thus, within the Christian community, those who choose cremation can do so with the confidence that this decision does not compromise spiritual values or their faith. Thank you for watching this enlightening video about cremation. We invite you to share your thoughts on this topic in the comments. Feel free to explore other videos on our channel. May God bless you.